Hello, I'm Mark Hopkins from the Slavic department at the University of Texas at Austin. I teach courses there in Czech and Russian languages and literatures. And I wanted to tell you a little bit today about Houska Castle, which is a castle about 30 miles north of Prague in the Czech Republic. And it's a very creepy castle with several frightening stories surrounding it. It was built in around 1270 to 1280 by a king of Bohemia named Ottokar II. He was one of the members of the Přemyslid dynasty. And he was actually one of the most successful rulers of the dynasty. He ruled for 25 years, and during his time, he ruled lands that stretched from modern-day Bohemia all the way down through Austria and Slovenia to the Adriatic. And the interesting thing about this castle, there's several things about it actually that are unique, which is that it strangely seems to be built to keep things inside as opposed to keeping things outside. So there are windows along the edges that don't actually go anywhere, they just have walls behind them. And at the center of the castle is a giant pit that goes incredibly deep. And still to this day, in fact, they don't know exactly how deep the sort of well or natural pit is that goes into the cliff that the castle sits on. And the story is that this pit is a gateway to hell, and the reason they built the castle was to keep evil demons and demonic spirits from coming out of the pit into the surrounding land. So some of the reasons that they think this is happening is because there was no water source for the castle, there was no trade routes nearby the castle. It seems to have specifically been built to keep these demonic spirits in this gateway to hell. So one of the most famous stories from this pit is that the king was willing to pardon a criminal if he would be willing to be lowered into the pit and to come back up and tell them what he saw. And so they did this, and he agreed to do it, wanting to be pardoned. He was lowered into the well, and then there was a moment of silence, and then he began screaming like crazy. And when they pulled him out of the well, his hair had turned white, and he had aged 30 years, and he died soon after that. There's countless other stories that go along with the castle, including it was occupied by the Nazis during the Nazi invasion, mainly because it was located in the Sudetenland. And while we don't know exactly what the Nazis were doing there, we do know that we found 3 Nazi soldiers buried there that had been killed execution style. So it's a creepy place. If you ever visit the Czech Republic, I'd recommend checking it out if you're into ghosts.